The Haunting of Blackwood Manor. It was a dark and stormy night when young Emma and her family arrived at Blackwood Manor. The old mansion loomed eerily over the desolate countryside, its towering walls wrapped in vines that seemed to reach out and grab at the visitors. The wind howled through the trees, and the rain pelted down with a vengeance, as if trying to dissuade anyone from approaching the foreboding mansion. But the Allens, having inherited the estate from a distant relative, were determined to start afresh and make this seemingly cursed place their home. As they settled into their new abode, strange occurrences began to unfold. Doors creaked open on their own, and shadows seemed to dance along the walls when there was no source of light. Whispers echoed through the halls at night, causing chills to run down Emma's spine. However, her parents brushed it off as mere superstitions and told her it was just her imagination running wild. Emma's younger brother Tommy was not so dismissive of the eerie happenings. One day, he confided in Emma, "I saw a little girl in a white dress standing by my bed last night. She had no eyes, just empty black sockets." Emma tried to comfort him, but she couldn't shake the sense of dread that enveloped her. Curiosity got the better of Emma, and she began to research the history of Blackwood Manor. The more she dug, the more ominous the mansion's past appeared. The property had been in the Blackwood family for centuries, and stories of tragedy and malevolence clung to its very foundations. Murders, suicides, and disappearances were all rumored to have taken place within those walls. The previous owners had left in a hurry, claiming they couldn't bear to live in the house any longer. Their accounts told of inexplicable phenomena, as if the very walls had eyes and were watching their every move. Emma's spine tingled as she realized that the stories of the haunted mansion might be more than mere tales. One day, as she roamed the dusty attic, Emma stumbled upon an ancient journal belonging to one of the past inhabitants of Blackwood Manor. The pages were filled with sinister secrets, revealing a dark ritual that had been performed within the mansion's confines. The ritual was supposed to grant immortality, but instead, it unleashed something evil that fed on fear and despair, trapping the souls of the living in a never-ending torment. With each passing day, the paranormal occurrences intensified. Emma started experiencing vivid nightmares, where she would be chased by shadowy figures through the seemingly endless corridors of Blackwood Manor. Sleep became an elusive luxury, and she couldn't escape the feeling of being watched. One evening, when her parents had gone into town, Emma and Tommy were left alone in the mansion. As darkness descended, a peculiar glow emanated from the basement. Tommy, feeling brave, convinced Emma to investigate. They descended the creaking staircase, and a cold, foul breeze greeted them as they reached the basement's depths. In the dim light of an oil lamp, Emma and Tommy discovered a hidden chamber. The room was adorned with bizarre symbols and grotesque artwork that seemed to come alive in the wavering light. In the center of the room, they found a ghastly statue of a cloaked figure, its face obscured by a twisted mask. As they approached the statue, the air grew colder, and the shadows seemed to stretch and contort. Emma felt an overwhelming sense of dread and despair, as if the very essence of evil surrounded them. She reached out to touch the statue, and as her fingers grazed its surface, a piercing scream echoed through the room, emanating from the mask itself. Terrified, Emma and Tommy rushed back upstairs, slamming the basement door shut behind them. But the horrors had only just begun. The malevolent entity that lurked within the mansion had been awakened, and it hungered for their fear. The following days became a living nightmare for the Allen family. The mansion's atmosphere grew oppressive, and the malevolent presence became more aggressive, tormenting them relentlessly. Emma and Tommy would hear whispering voices calling out their names in the dead of night, beckoning them to join the spirits trapped within the walls. The apparitions they once dismissed as figments of their imagination now revealed themselves with terrifying clarity. The little girl Tommy had seen had once lived in Blackwood Manor and had died tragically during a fire. Her spirit now sought vengeance against the malevolent force that had tormented her. Desperate to escape, the Allens sought help from paranormal investigators and exorcists, but every attempt to cleanse the mansion of its evil proved futile. The entity's malevolence seemed to grow stronger with each failed attempt. As a last resort, Emma decided to perform a ritual of her own, hoping to appease the malevolent force and free the trapped souls within the mansion. Armed with the knowledge she had, gained from the ancient journal, she ventured into the basement with Tommy by her side. The ritual was both complex and dangerous. It required offering up a sacrifice of fear to the malevolent entity in exchange for setting the trapped souls free. Emma knew that facing her deepest fears would be no easy task, but she was willing to endure anything to save her family. With great courage, Emma confronted the shadowy figures that haunted her nightmares. She faced the memories of her past, the fears that had held her back, and the uncertainties of her future. She felt the malevolence clawing at her mind, but she stood her ground, refusing to succumb. As the ritual reached its climax, the malevolent force seemed to struggle against the power of Emma's bravery. In a blinding flash of light, the cloaked figure in the basement vanished, and the mansion shook as if relieved of a heavy burden. The malevolent entity was finally defeated, and the souls of the trapped spirits were released from their torment. Emma and Tommy embraced each other, tears streaming down their faces as the mansion seemed to sigh with relief. The Allens moved out of Blackwood Manor the next day, leaving behind the haunted mansion forever. Though they knew the evil had been vanquished, the memories of their time in Blackwood Manor would stay with them forever. They had learned the true meaning of courage, love, and the power of facing one's fears. As they drove away, they saw the first rays of sunlight break through the clouds, illuminating the mansion for one last time. Though the house appeared peaceful, they knew that the darkness within it would always be lurking, waiting for the right moment to strike again. And so the legend of Blackwood Manor lives on, a cautionary tale to those who dare to enter its haunted halls. For within its walls, the malevolence still stirs, and the spirits of the past continue to whisper their chilling tales of despair and terror.